In 2005, the Provincial Court partnered with the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Health, the Regina Health Region, and Justice Canada to pilot the Drug Treatment Court program. How does the Drug Treatment Court work?
Normally what happens is that Crown prosecutor will refer an individual to the Drug Treatment Court. That individual is usually in custody and is usually facing some sort of incarceration if convicted of the offense or offenses they're charged with. And what happens is the Crown sees this as a potential referral. Then what happens is they appear in courtroom number 7, our drug treatment court on Tuesdays. And then if the Crown is prepared to refer them, that is, they're not a violent person and that they think there's a good chance of the drug treatment center working with the individual, they're released on strict conditions on bail into the community, and then they have to report to the drug treatment center Monday to Friday from 9 until 4 p.m. daily.
5 graduates were asked about the program, and they talked about how it changed their lives. What was life like before?
Kind of crappy, actually. I was addicted to alcohol and drugs, and I was going nowhere.
It was chaos. It was just about crime, drugs, violence. That's all it was about.
It was unmanageable. It was an hour by hour struggle to get high, stay high.
It was so much self-inflicted dysfunction, right?
Scary, really scary. It was using, criminal activity, selling drugs, doing drugs. It was scary, like life was completely chaotic.
I wanted to change, I did, but just didn't know how.
How was your experience at Drug Treatment Court?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really like anything about the program, but, well, when I first came, I didn't, but as I started coming, I started liking it because I started to change, so it just helped me be a better person. And
you know, I'm going to court, and the judge is, he's every Tuesday we go to court, and he's giving me the, you know, the boots, right? Like, he's pretty hard on me, and he's telling me you're going to either change, or you know, you have to do something, or you know, you're not going to last, right? And you know, put some effort into it.
What happens at Drug Treatment Court?
You have to be here. When you first come in, just show up and be on time. That's all you need to do for the first few months. It's recovery's not, there's no end game in recovery.
Makes you look at your life in a whole different way. Makes you realize, you know, the way that you were thinking, the way that things were, it's not the proper way of doing things, you know, like living that lifestyle. You know, you think it's right because, I mean, I've been on my own since I was 10 years old, and that's just the way I grew up. So you have classes that you attend every day, and, you know, counseling sessions, and then, you know, if you have family issues and stuff like that, you know, they work with that for you too, and it's just everything, right? You'll have one-on-one time, there's group time, they have a healing room.
If you're completely held accountable, honesty is the #1 thing here. That's the only way you're going to make it through. You know, and it's tough when you're living a lie for so long, you know, but eventually you come around, you know. Being honest is the main thing.
What happened in Drug Treatment Court that triggered you to get clean?
You know what, I don't think there was a specific turning point. Like I said, you know, I started going to the meetings and stuff, and you know, with the things that were going on in the group here, you know, talking about my problems, being accountable for, you know, the things that I'd done in my life, the people I hurt, and you know, I kind of sat back and thinking, you know what, you know, I wasted so many years on you know, running away from things, right? And all I had to do was kind of face it without trying to, you know, suppress it with alcohol or drugs, right? And I guess the more time that I didn't use and got, you know, sober, and my head got a little bit clearer, and started thinking more rationally, right? It was, it just seemed to get a little stranger, the things that I was doing beforehand, right? So, yeah, like it wasn't a specific point, right? I just, as I kind of went along in the program and the things that we were talking about, right, it just kind of triggered me, I guess, to kind of see things in a different aspect, right? So, yeah, I think even today, right, like I've been sober now for, I'm going on 2 years, but even today, like I see things in a different way, right? So it's an everyday thing for me, right? It was a good experience.
It was in August, and I was on like a 5-day bender, crystal meth, and old past things came up, and I lost it, and I ran away, and that's I've always been good at. I've lived in 18 different cities in Regina in 7 years because I ran away, always running away from my problems. So I ran away, and it just clicked that I didn't want to do this no more. This is ridiculous. I'm in another new city. I lost my fiance, I lost my children. They're 2 and 1, and I'm doing the exact same thing I did with my other family. That I lost 3 girls to custody because of me running away and doing the exact thing. So I was done. I was dead serious. I stuck on a routine. I had a routine. I went to any means. Like I worked freaking hard to get where I am today. Drug court helped me structure, right? Because I can. Everybody who stays sober or gets out of that sober, they go for 2-3 months hard. They're straight. They're sober for 3 months. They're so proud of themselves, and then they go back down and they get back in their old ways. Drug court gave me that structure. And it also, like I said, helped me on my honesty, helped me on my reliability, my accountability, my punctuality.
Well, I didn't want to live my life the way I was living it, like before I came here. Like I said, I was pregnant. I wanted to be clean for my daughter, and just coming here and having the support here and being able to talk to my counselor and to Judy and seeing that they weren't judging me and that they were here to help me just made it a lot better for me. Easier to be here.
I was coming here going through the motions every day, and it was just like, I was not really giving it serious. I was still actively using marijuana at the time. I would go home at lunchtime and get high. It's just whatever. And then, I think the judge said something to me one day about, about taking it, and it wasn't even that he said it to me, he said it to somebody else, how, you're given an opportunity that only a very small few people are given, and you can change your life because of it, but you just have to take it serious. And I took that as that I have to take it serious. And that day I stopped smoking weed and just, gave it 110%, and I graduated in under a year.
Honestly, I don't even know. I think it's the repetition, right? You do the same thing every day. You go through the same motions. When you're using, it's just everything's sporadic, everything's fly by the seat of your pants. You're not used to an everyday normal life, right? So I think that's their basic thing is, they're trying to integrate you back into working and going to school, and that's the hours here are pretty much the same as a working person or someone going to school. They try to get you back into that routine, right? And then eventually it's just like something goes off in your head and you're like, oh yeah, this is what it's like. You sort of remember from before use.
What is your life like today?
As far as my family, my daughter, my girlfriend, after I was sober for, I would say probably a little over a year, me and my girlfriend started having a relationship again, talking on the phone. Of course, she was back in Nova Scotia, and yeah, she decided to move out here with her daughter, and I was lucky enough to get a job at one of the refineries out here as a pipe fitter, and I continue to go to meetings pretty much every day, and just trying to change my life, right? I don't think it just stops after you leave drug court. It was definitely a good foundation for me being here, and kind of got me to see you know, where I was going wrong and what I had to do to change it, right? So yeah, they kind of gave me a little boot in the butt and sent me out into the real world, and yeah, I just continue to try to improve my life, be honest with myself, make some good changes, and be a good father and a good I would say husband, but boyfriend to my girlfriend, right?
And yeah, things are looking really good, you know. Got to stress the fact that I never read a book or took a pill, and I'm here now. And it's a lot of nights of chewing your fingers off because you want to pick up the phone. A lot of times walking in public with your kids and then running into somebody you used to know, and then you guys get your numbers and you have to tear that number up and ignore them. Be that you know, douchebag you want to put it, because they think you just don't want anything to do with them. But it's a long journey, which is the prize at the end is very good.
I feel good. It's a lot different than waking up and trying to go get my drugs or whatever, how I used to. It's normal now for me to wake up and get ready for work, get my daughter ready, feed my daughter. Feels good.
It's great. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, I have my problems like everybody else. You know, I might be late on my power bill, or, you know, I might get sick and miss a week's pay or whatever, but now it's just, I have the skills to deal with it without turning to drugs or turning to crime, or, you know, or wallowing in self-pity or whatever. You know, I can deal with it and move on, you know. It's just, I think that's the biggest thing, is having the skills to just deal with things and move on, instead of dwelling on it and then letting it eat away at you and then turn into negative behavior is all.
So just got to keep doing what I'm doing and stay on track.
The judges were asked to share their thoughts about drug treatment court and the individuals accepted into the program.
My first day in court, I had done some background reading and was told in the reading that you had to reward the positive behavior, and often that's done by clapping. I'm a judge. I mean, I'm sitting on the dais, and I've never clapped in my courtroom. And the first day, almost the first person before me was a young woman, and she had tried so hard during that week in group and to open up and try and change her life. And I gave her a big hand, and so did the rest of the room. And she brightened up. And the next person who came up before me was this huge gentleman. And he basically had just kind of blew off the week, and he kind of just sat through the lectures and didn't participate. So I said, "Thank you very much, have a seat." And his shoulders just slumped. He was just taken aback that he didn't get any applause. The next week, he had done everything he was supposed to, and he got a hand. And I realized at that point that that simple motivation, hearing something from a judge, which normally what they hear is the sentence, for the judge to applaud their efforts was a huge motivation for the people before me in that court, and that was a huge learning curve. And to understand that you don't have to have endless negative sanctions. Positive sanctions can be far more effective.
One of the most gratifying parts of drug treatment court is reuniting people with their families. With anyone with substance abuse problems, these are not matters that are cured or solved in 1 year. They can go on for years, and so that mutual support is very important. And as well, being a graduate of the Regina Drug Treatment Court is a significant accomplishment. This involves a major life change for people. And not many of us are capable of life changes. These people are, and they have a lot to be proud of.
What does graduating from drug treatment court mean to you?
Feels good that I accomplished something, and I don't do drugs anymore. I don't drink anymore. I'm a good parent for my daughter. I have my own house now. I'm going to work now, and I've never had a job before this. So feels good to be a productive member of society, I guess.
It changed my whole life, made me I'm not even the same person I was. I don't even, I don't even look at that person as that is who I was anymore. I don't even call myself the same person that I was then. I went from being a guy living in alleys, stealing to survive, to a person with stability in his life, a good job, a bright outlook where, before the only thing I ever seen at my age now was death. Like I never looked at my life past 40 because I didn't think I'd ever live that long. Now I look at my life, I'm like, 75 I'm looking at now,
What is the Drug Treatment Court alumni?
Well, it's a group that I kind of pretty much, well, I mean, I'd have to say I started it. Like, I went to the conference last year in Toronto, and I just, I realized that here there's no aftercare, there's nothing for folks when you leave drug court. Some people still stay in contact, but that's up to you, right? Same as with this, whereas with the alumni, we're making it so that it's almost mandatory. You have to be here when you're track 3, which is the final stage here, before you graduate. Want people to be involved with it, and what it is, it's, we're just trying to be like any other charitable organization where we give back to the community. We take part in fundraising events, we take part in things like AIDS walks and things like that, and it's so people know that when you're done here, at least you have someone to talk to that's been through what you've been through, or because when you leave here, you're still going to have your daily problems, you're still going to have your issues, you're still going to have the people that you used to hang around with, you're still going to have them problems. At least, you know that you have someone you can talk to that's been through it and probably has the same problems as you.
Put yourself in the mindset of a person who is sitting in the prisoner's box wondering if they're going to get into drug treatment court. Is this what they really want? My lawyer suggested it, or somebody did, and so I put my hand up, but I don't know if I really want to do this. And they come in through the door that the prisoners enter the courtroom, and they sit down, there are bars in front of them, and they're looking out in the audience, and they see someone from the street that they know, and they got a tie on. And the judge talks to them right away, and mentions that there's a graduate in the courtroom, and how you doing? Well, I'm working, or I'm in school. And they say, I showed up with that guy in their mind. They say, he did it. Maybe I can. To even qualify drug treatment court, you have to have demonstrated that your offense is so bad we've got to send you to jail. And often they've blown everything else, probation, conditional sentences. And here they are, a population that should be jailed because nobody could work with them, responding marvelously. And when they graduate, and that's probably the most gratifying moment, and maybe what I'd like to close on. When they graduate, instead of the judge simply imposing a sentence, which is part of the graduation, because it's usually a very small sentence, a short period of probation or whatever, because they've done so very, very well. And it's not just that they don't go to jail. I actually get down from the bench, and I walk down to them, and I shake their hand, which obviously judges don't do a whole lot of to people that they sentence, and I give them, and I don't know if you can get a close-up of this, but I give them this medallion. And the medallion was designed by the participants. It says, "One day at a time. I wish them sobriety." And I put the medallion on them. And the only people that have the medallions, I don't have one. The only people that get these medallions are drug treatment court graduates, and they get them, and I want to end on this, because they've earned it.